Okay, we are called to order for the November meeting of Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board. Do you want to call roll or do you want me to?
Go for it.
Okay. Kathy Portis, I know is absent. Justin Fortney. Here. Jeremy Maker.
Here.
I'm here. Dan Newton.
Here.
H.C. Patel.
Here.
And Verla is absent right now. We have a quorum. Are there any public comments that don't relate to agenda items at all? You guys are both here for agenda items?
Can you speak for it?
Huh?
Yeah, they think you're.
Okay. We need to discuss and take action on appointing a vice chairman for the next year. I will open the floor to any suggestions, nominations, whatever we want. Do I hear from anybody? Don't all speak at once.
I'll nominate Dan.
Oh, what I was gonna nominate Mr. Patel.
Beats to it.
I'd love to help, it's just that I'm afraid right now, there's just too many uncertainties with when I might not be here, and I just hate to do that.
Okay.
If somebody else would take an interest in doing that, that would be great. If not, I will. I know that you're involved with Chamber.
Well, if Mike guarantees he's gonna be here every single time.
You're good with that?
I'm good.
Okay.
100%.
Motion for HC.
Do we have a second?
I'll second
And see,
Anybody else?
this is in the minutes now. You
I
can't no show.
I have to be here. I will.
No.
be.
How you like that one?
All in favor of H.C. Patel being the vice chairman for the next year, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? H.C., you're it. Thank you, H.C. Minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone gotten a chance to look at those? And are there any questions or any corrections anyone saw? H.C., Jeremy?
I looked through it, I didn't see any issues.
I think you've forgotten to print the draft.
H.C., anything?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes then?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Financial status and budget, do we want to get to our speakers first and then we can come back to the budget? Is that acceptable to
I would
everyone?
just like to say, I think you're only saying that because the newspaper lady's here and you just don't want her to know.
Well, I either, oh, he left. Oh,
No,
there's
he
Jerry.
is.
He's quiet.
Who wants to be first?
I'm just kidding. You can go.
Jerry, you're up, bud. I'll take you first.
Down here, go down here for the camera. We need you for the camera.
Trying to hide.
Sorry.
Do you want to sit down?
So-
You want to sit right here? Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, I'm with the Military Veterans Rodeo Promotion. Sent a request for another year of support throughout the year. We plan on running, I'm just gonna tell you, other than the 89ers Day, we're kinda looking at something different for 89ers Day. We're looking at going back to having just a bull riding on Saturday night and cutting back on that. The reason being is that the Legions asked us not to do as many events, so there's more events coming down to their carnival and stuff. So we're revamping that. Like Friday night, we might have a ranch rodeo. I'm in the midst of contracting with Jason Aduttle on that, and a bull riding on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're looking at doing a junior timed event to bring in some new junior rodeo to this area, somewhat like Little Britches, except for it's Edmond Junior Roundup Club and Central CODRA, Central Oklahoma Junior Rodeo Association out of Perry. We're trying to bring them here more so we can drive a lot younger. During the year, we'll run as usual. We'll run about 15 to 20 barrel racings. We're looking at changing the night from Wednesday night to Sunday afternoons after church. More people said that they could attend on that day, and more younger competitors can attend and grow. And I've been approached by some people that used to be a member of the old Roundup Club about starting a new Roundup Club at Guthrie here in another couple of years when my term ends at the arena, and they're going to get with Kay Wade, that committee, about having a Roundup Club and then taking over the arena from now on. I've planted the seed. We're growing the next couple of years. We've been growing. It takes a lot of money to put on rodeos. The bull riding alone will cost $10,000 just for the bull riding, and that's not including insurance, or that's just strictly the event to have the bulls and the people there. And last year, I think it was close to $17,000 for 2 days of rodeo, so we'll save a little bit of money there by doing a one-night event. And doing timed events without stock will make a better decision there. During the year, we're gonna run 2 other events of junior rodeo and timed events with no livestock. It'll just be like rope and barrel racing, play day type stuff. And that's why we're asking for the support to help us out with that, to draw more people in, to do more advertising, to have, prize money, and that's what it takes to drive organizations. Some of you know at the Little Lazy, they had the National Miniature Bull Riding Finals. I talked to their board. They were gonna try to have 1 or 2 events here this year on a Saturday and a Sunday. I've offered the arena to them free if they could just provide the insurance and they use the local hotels and stuff in our area. And I just talked to HC, we're gonna get together and do some coordination, so my event people will start using the stuff here. He's been very supportive of us down at the arena and the Cowboys on last minute notice coming through, so we appreciate it. If you haven't been down there in a while, come down and look. I see him walking around all the time, riding his bike and stuff. It's cleaned up a lot. We've cleaned a lot of brush up. We've had the brush pile burned from support, from the city and stuff. We just need to get some dirt and kind of level some roads out and some gravel, and I think we're gonna be a better deal. We offer, like Mr. Schultz to tell you, we offer to the band and different groups to come out and run the concession stands. They get to make that money, and it helps us grow their boosters and stuff. So that's what we're about, supporting here in Guthrie and trying to grow. So I look for a few more years and then turn it over to a Roundup Club and still helping out with the Roundup Club, but let's turn it over to an organization that's responsible enough to grow it instead of, I hate to say, 1 or 2 guys trying to, we planted the seed and we're starting to grow and harvest. Now it's time to turn it over and let them go forth with it here in a couple of years.
So what's the time frame on when your lease up?
My lease is up 2020. That same year, 2020, hope that the Roundup group takes over then, and they go forward, every 5 years or so, they do the thing. I will, I talked to some of the people and I told them I'd be there as an advisor and help out. And that if something fell through, that I would take it back for the remainder of the lease to carry forward. But I'd like to try to build an organization that takes care of it. And you have a group of people that want to do that. And it sure is a lot easier than one man trying to paint, weed eat.
So will the Roundup Club be part of the city or a separate entity?
They'll just be a
nonprofit?
club. They'll have their own club, just like the MVRP is, Military Veterans Rodeo Promotion. They'll have to come up with their own name. It can't be Guthrie Roundup or anything like that. They'll have to come up with, their own thing for their own insurance, their own deal. But it gives it a chance for people of Guthrie and Coyle and all that I've been asked, Northern Edmond, to start doing something here to grow like it used to be. And back in the day, it used to be pretty prosperous. For those that are old and been here for a while.
Not me. Not me. So how many events did you end up doing last year?
Total night, because barrel racings are run 2 different ways. We do a jackpot like 3 or 4 weeks, and that's 5 nights. And then we did 3 jackpots, and we did two other barrel racings event. We did 2 nights of rodeo. We did the bulldogging. We had some roping, and then we did
And so what was your attendance at the 89ers rodeo for the 2 nights?
Out of 3 years, we only got to do one
No,
night.
last year, when we
Right.
gave you the money.
It
You
rained
rained
out,
out, right?
it rained out
Yeah.
Friday night, and Saturday we had a max crowd
What's
of
a-
about
what's-
1,000. I think it was 1,100 people, I would say, that was there. I know they sold out of hamburgers and hot dogs and all the stuff, the concession stand, they had to go back and buy more. Is that right? So we ended up having a max night, and, you know, after the 89er meeting, we had the after meeting, I call it after action, they asked us if we could cut back on a Friday night to give their chance for a carnival and stuff like that. So that's what we're drawing more people throughout the month and throughout the year coming on their day events that are here, that use the town, that stay the night, that come through now and use the facility we put in. I have put in electricity and water and stuff so campers and people can stay now. This year I'm looking at 20 campers staying in town for Little Britches. And I've probably had about 50 campers stay this year.
And so how many are staying in hotels?
I'd say that it just depends upon the event. I mean, that's why.
So how many
That's
stay-
why we're looking at this new way of tracking, so then I will know. I would say we've had close to, I don't know, 75, 80, because I know with the MBR, the miniature bull riding deal, I had 15, 20 people staying here in town that came and ate dinner with me that were staying here in town. We went and ate at stables and different stuff.
Yeah, but that's a lazy E event. How many for your event? Because we're supporting your event, we're not supporting lazy E.
My event, probably just 89ers alone, I probably have 20, 25 people stay
In hotels?
in hotels. Bull riders, stuff like that, but barrel racers and stuff like that, no. They
Well,
have
you
their own
didn't put that,
trailers and sleeping.
you didn't put it in your recap, that's why I'm asking.
I'm just taking an estimate there. I know,
Oh.
that's why I asked him earlier if I could get a code so that I could better track. So when people look at that poster, look at that advertisement, the state hotel, they use our code in order to know how many people we're actually having stay. I just got people saying, hey, we stayed there, you know. I don't have an actual way, that's why I left that blank. There's not an actual way to check, like for 89ers and stuff, who's there for what event until you get a code to track your actual attendees.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah, but there's gotta be a way you gotta know. I mean, if you're getting money from this board, the money we generate is off hotel motels. So if you're not getting people staying in the hotels and motels in Guthrie, what's the payback to?
Well, they're staying. I mean, I've called him and he's my #1 hotel to use. I've had people
Okay.
call and stay and all throughout the year when I have events and I don't have events. It's just a matter of people coming through and say, hey, I need a hotel for what do you recommend? And so they call me and I tell them. That's why I asked for a code once again, because like during 89ers, people are staying in hotels and stuff, and I can't tell you if they're my attendees or his attendees. Nobody could really probably tell you other than they're here for 89ers then. That's why I'm asking for a separate identity.
I don't think we get, I think you're overestimating how many people actually stay in hotels for 89ers.
Well, one thing I think I'd like to bring up in looking at the purpose of this too, it says to promote, the purpose of the committee, the Bureau, is to promote general interest in and for the city of Guthrie, to improve conditions of all types of businesses in and around Guthrie by increasing visitors and tourism in Guthrie, to promote Guthrie as a meeting place, athletic venue, and then the final thing says, overnight visitor destination. And I understand where our taxes come from, but I also understand
That's
if
fine.
you're
I'm just-
impacting, well, I mean, I'm just saying.
No, I'm just,
We always talk about focusing on heads and beds, but it's also important to get out here too.
Yeah. Tax dollars fund, sales tax dollars in general fund services, basic services in streets and things of that nature that do go into this community. So I think we'd be short-sighted to only focus on hotel stays, even though that is where
Right.
these funds come from.
Sure.
It's
So it's a good
worth bearing,
point.
but
I'm not
it's-
arguing.
yeah.
no, I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
that, we gave $2,500 last year, we got one event for the 2,500 last year.
No, sir. You had barrel racings
When?
the whole month of April and May. We ran 2 in June.
So
We
Jerry,
had
can,
one-
can I ask you, because I wasn't real clear on that either, but on the thing that you put forward for us, it mentions the Military Veterans Rodeo Promotion, but does that include the Veteran Barrel Race, the rodeo, the Fall Festivities? All of those are under this one umbrella, so
Yes,
there's more events?
It's a year, it's a whole year that I do instead of one event.
And where it says in here, the amount of people that attended last event, the 2,000 plus, is that for all of the events
Yes, sir.
combined?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question too, because I know last year, I believe the money we gave you was earmarked for the stock producer and for stocks, which I didn't get the copy of the check. I know that you tried to send me, I know you've been with surgery, so that's, yeah, we'll
I'll
work
get you
that
that
out.
copy.
But, my question, I didn't see what the funds would be I didn't see clarification of how funds would be used for this year. What part of your budget
Y'all have always
you
told
were
me
to
either
award?
using it, you know, we had different last year, but the years before, it's either been advertising or this, y'all been directive as to tell me what to do, so. To me, it can be used for either or, you know, throughout the year. I mean, the budget's the budget, I can use that amount of fund for advertising like I have, you know, and banners and papers and magazines and stuff. Or I can pull the money out of the other fund to do newspapers, advertise. I mean, either which way, you have to balance your budget out, and whichever way you want me to balance it, then that's the way I'll do it. I'm comfortable as to either way.
Okay.
I used part of
Wanted
the
some
funds last year, like I
clarification.
said, the stock producer was $8,000, you know.
Mhm.
I sent you the deal on the banners and the advertisements and stuff, so I'm not wasting any funds whatsoever.
Right, I just wanted to clarify, so.
Anybody else got any other questions?
So how much revenue do you bring in the whole year, sales-wise, for all your competitions?
I would say at the end of the year, well, that's kind of a question that I really can't answer. I show right now I'm in the hole.
Okay.
That I'll be in the hole the next 3 years due to things of painting, bleachers, improvements, paint. I mean, we didn't have any bleachers down there. That there alone was $8,000.
Okay, so sales is one item, and then how much revenue do you generate of like sponsorships and stuff like that?
I'd say for the year, I do yearly sponsorships. I would say I'm close to $7,000–8,000. We don't pay a lot of bonus big pots here, which draw more cowboys, because we just don't have that kind of
No, I mean,
sponsorships.
like sponsors, like your billboards you have, you know, money coming in from those.
Right.
That's about
I'd
7,000,
say-
8,000.
I'd say about 8,000 a year, 8,000 a year, at the most. I haven't had to break that down, but I can. I mean, I've got it on a spreadsheet.
Well, I think that was one of, you know, whenever you make an application, I think we need something like that, but I know this is a budget for 2018. I think, isn't that one of our requirements to even show an actual?
And that's, to me, that's kind of hard to do, because it's kind of an off calendar for us. Most of your finals and rodeos are November, December, PBRs in October, and PRCAs.
But you still catch the previous month.
You still, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in order to get actual contracts and figures, I won't actually get a contract and figure from Jason Ado or whoever I use till after December. I'm just going off of verbal of what they tell me. Prices might change. They may go up, they may go down, depending upon the season and how many they've booked or already contracted. They try to make their money back from feeding and costs and stuff from their deal, you know. So I have to put a budget together somewhat. It's in an off year for us. Most rodeos don't happen in April. And we tried to do a rodeo 2 years ago in June, July, and it was not successful. There's too many other big rodeos going on supporting other money that we can't get to 10,000 added and stuff.
Okay, so we're looking at total event costs of like 29,000.
Yes, sir.
basically like 6,600 in the whole, well, according to this budget for next year.
Yes, sir.
So would that have, the amount you're asking in here under sponsors, or where would that figure be?
Sponsorships.
So we would go into sponsorships?
Yes, sir. That's what we did last year, and we put the banner over the announcer stand, which hangs all year long, which I had to give back at the end of the year because y'all changed logos or something like that. I mean, it's been up, I don't know, I have to ask Keith, when did I bring that banner back? Like, end of August or something like that, September?
I have a question, if I could ask one.
Yes, sir.
On the budget sheet, on the top, it's 89ers Day Bull Riding Budget 2018. On the left-hand column, there's bleachers for $7,000. Are you gonna spend another $7,000, or is that your $7,000 that you reported before?
That's the 7,000 total for the bleachers that I'm still trying to revenue them off, each year a little at a time.
Okay.
It'll take me time to pay for them, and then last year, I don't think the bleachers were on the bill for last year, because we didn't get them till after the money and stuff.
Okay.
Is that last year 17?
Yeah, it's last year 17. I have the bleachers on last year's for 7,000 too, so.
But it hasn't paid them off yet in my plan, so we'll be profit.
Well, now you have on here sponsorship for $19,000 for this year.
I'm hoping. I can't go to John Dad's, Eskridge, Mercy, Dan Newton and them until after the first of the year, because that's when they figure out what they're gonna do pretty much for the next year on their budgets and stuff. If I don't get that much, then the sponsorship that comes out of what we make throughout the year on barrel racings and stuff like that to level us out at the end. That's how it's always been here. That's why people at the arena have changed every year and changed hands every year, because they lose money, and that's why they don't come back. Like I said, I took the contract to do it for years to make it grow right way. You're just not gonna get growth there in a year. Somebody taking it, and then the next person, the next year signing a contract for it, then the next year somebody else signing a contract for it, and they do one event.
Anybody got any other questions? Mr. Newton?
I don't think I've got any more questions.
Jeremy? And Lisa? Justin, that leaves you. Are you good?
I think so.
Do you have any payroll?
No. Dustin, King and myself, we pretty much do it all. That's the point of getting to a roundup club, because when you have a roundup club, then people volunteer their time and their memberships to help grow funds to grow it. The history it's had is nobody ever wanted to do it anymore after what happened years ago, so I'm trying to regenerate that.
With the lease the way it is, you guys do all the maintenance and upkeep of the facility, right?
Yes, sir.
So the city's not out any money yearly to do any of that stuff?
No, they came help me, the fire department came help me burn a brush pile, that big brush pile that's been there for years. That was a hazard because the insurance wouldn't let me burn it on my own, set it on fire is what they call it. You can't set your own fire. Because it was city property, I can't, I'm just a leasee, I couldn't do that.
When you make the motion to approve this, are you going to specify what our money's going to be used for
I
administrative
think we
purposes?
should, if someone will make a motion. I mean, I'd like to table it, myself, I'd like to either table it till we get more firm numbers from him in January maybe. But I know his time is of the essence too. but that's just, I just don't think, I think some of these numbers are a little skewed. And then looking at what was spent last year, you know, I don't know if you have a good feel what your expenses are, and the only other question I've got is with 89ers, at least they say they're going to charging for advertising for anything that's not related to American Legion. Is that in your budget anywhere?
No, the American Legion and myself is, I put the Legion on my posters, my sell advertisement, and they will list me in their deal. We're doing a trade-off. I do mine and they do theirs, and the reason being is cause this money I'm asking for, you just say 89ers, but it's a whole year that I do mine. 89ers only runs that 1 week. And you know, with weather and stuff.
But the budget here says, like Leroy says, it says 89ers Day Celebration Bull Riding Budget. Doesn't say a whole year budget, it says one event budget.
On the request letter, where's the request letter, what it says? It says all year on that, that's just the budget I'm using for that, but right here it says, beginning and ending times, 2018 summer, 2018 fall, Veterans Deal.
But don't you think
Horse show.
don't you think your budget should reflect a whole year
That's
of
just-
events?
I can do a yearly budget. I just base that off the first part of the year, off making money, and we go from there. That's what the event costs pretty much for 1 year. We've had it for years, and that's what it's cost. That's why I'm saying, that's why people leave, because they don't do nothing all year long. It takes a while to grow it. People that have been doing it, that's why they don't do it after a year. It's a history. The numbers aren't skewed. The part that's skewed is the sponsorship, how much I'll acquire in sponsorship. And you really can't say how much you're gonna get or profit each year until the end of the year, until you take in all the numbers from the bull ridings and barrel racings and horse shows from the deal, and miniature bull ridings and everything you do to see how you come out in the end as far as profit or whatever. But I can see why in the past it was losing money. I mean, it's not a great facility. It wasn't a great facility. It was run down, ragged, torn up, pipe everywhere, trash, brush piles. I mean, I can just keep going down the list. Plumbing broke, no handicap accessories. I mean, not painted.
Dan?
It's just general discussion, I think, and I missed the last meeting, and I think Chris Neal was here and made application, and it failed. But the one thing that I would say about Jerry is he is local. He's here pretty well year-round. He travels a lot with rodeos, but he's here pretty well year-round, and I think he has a community interest where Chris Neal wouldn't. And, you know, I think there's some value in that personally, but it's not in this application, but I think there's some value there.
Anybody else? We have looking at this, I think we need a more complete budget, if this is for a whole year. If this is, if you're asking us for $2,500 for a whole year of events, I think we need a more complete budget, but I'm open, you know, someone wants to make a motion, you know, or have some idea, but I think we would need to specify where the money goes.
Do we meet again in December?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd have to go to January.
Okay.
I just would. I have to go to Vegas for a week.
Well, we could do it. You don't have to be
Well,
here.
he's asking for the budget. I mean.
Okay, you could get, you won't be able to do it beforehand?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, Thanksgiving's this week, and I leave the week after Thanksgiving for 15 days for
Oh,
Vegas,
okay.
but that far, there's no way that I can do any accuracy and crunch numbers with the things that I've got to get ready for there. I can maybe by January. If I'd have known, you know,
I mean,
I could have done something different, but right now, my shortfall, no, I can't.
and we've done this for other events. I'm not opposed in looking at what he does have on the budget. If we want to commit, Mr. City Manager will have to tell me if this is right or wrong. I'm not opposed to, if we buy his insurance for him, which is $1,219, if that is in fact an accurate number. And then once he brings us back a completed budget, we can reconsider the other $1,300. Can we do that, Leroy?
Is the insurance here, the 1219, is that for a year or just one?
That was for the number of events we had last year, so.
So it was
If
for
we
the whole
increase
year.
the numbers, you know,
Well,
increase the
yeah,
events.
okay.
If I increase the events, then the insurance goes up.
We can
Sure.
do a reimbursement too, or like we do with other groups, to say if we get, the bill for advertising or radio, well, I don't know if we can do that,
The
we've done that
insurance
kind
would
of
be
thing,
great.
their
I mean,
insurance.
because I wanna have
Well,
more,
then,
but I can't seem to get more because I have to
Reimbursement
pay
up to a
insurance
level.
more. It costs more to do insurance to have more events.
I think we need to table it, guys, but I'm up, if someone wants to make a I think we need more information on the budget.
I would just like to see us, if you give him 2,500, say it's for insurance and advertising or something, and then if he spends 1,200 on insurance, he's got 1,300 for advertising. If he spends 1,500 on insurance, then he's got 1,000 for advertising.
I'm not super concerned about, like, you know,
Oh, but
this, I think, like.
I'm open for
like I
motion,
said,
guys.
$2,500 going towards insurance and however you just word it, insurance and advertising, that kind of thing.
Do we have a motion on that?
I motion that we do, 1,500 to insurance and then 1,000 towards advertising.
Okay.
Could you do it 2,500 total for insurance and advertising, and if insurance is lower, then you
Absolutely,
spend
yes,
more?
$2,500 total, for insurance and advertising, and,
I'm blessed with
and I'll
that.
second that.
With Mr. Newton seconds. Any other discussion?
Well, my just question was, would you feel like you might get more in trade-offs with that advertising field where you might need money somewhere else? Or would that work?
No,
for you just-
that would be great. Like I said,
All right, that's
because
fine.
how I do other things, you're all businessmen, you can, whatever I need, that would more than fulfill.
Okay.
That would help me out more fulfilling knowing what I did in advertisement and stuff, that's in insurance and I'm trying to get with the local insurance, we're supposed to meet in December down here again. I'm using another local agency this year.
Can I have a motion on the floor for $2,500 to the rodeo to be used for insurance and advertising? I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, same trip.
I'll get you the estimates and stuff to you. And you need a copy of that check you said?
Yeah,
Will you
yeah.
email me?
Yep, and when you have receipts for those things that we approved tonight, please send them my direction.
Yeah, but the insurance company, he said he'd give me an estimate and then I would know so I can bring that to you. and that way we go.
Okay, we'll do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Take care.
And I can fill that in, there should be a place for your signature.
Thanks for the newspaper.
You want a couple more copies?
There's not, I wish you just leave it in my house.
I could. $38.69.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yes.
I asked that. I'll bring it to you.
It comes to me.
Karen, you are up.
I am
Ma'am.
up. I'm excited. Do y'all want me to stand?
You're good right there.
Okay, I'm good right here. All right, do you wanna pass these around? This is exactly, what Andrea and I were visiting about. We've been visiting a couple of months about this. Basically what I wanted to do is put together a campaign, not only just for the Guthrie News Leader, but for the surrounding outlying areas of Logan County, because I feel we have a very well-kept secret, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. I feel like we need to do something to bring people from the outlying communities. So Andrea and I began discussion, and we decided that it probably did not make sense for us just to do this as a print campaign, because as a print campaign, we're generally going to reach Logan County majority. little bit of North Oklahoma County. So what we did is we looked at adding GuthrieNewsLeader.com, possibly Blackwell Journal Tribune, which is another option that I've put in here. What I've done is I've included the statistics for August, September, and October. They show you the page views, and then of course the unique visitors are in the second column, which is the difference in number. The whole goal would be all year round to get people to come to Guthrie, not just for 89ers, not just for Territorial Christmas, but to bring people here every single month, every single week, to see what we have to offer. This is something that can be changed. Now, obviously, when we have the events, if we want to market the events, we can do that. Or if we just want a general did you know type campaign, we can do that as well. Basically, what we're looking at is the rotation of either a tile ad, which is just like what it sounds, it's one of those little button things on a website, or a banner ad, which is at the top or bottom of the page that would link directly to Guthrie's site. Now, the investment for the Guthrie Newsletter a month, and we can change copy as many times as we want. I usually suggest on digital ads that we don't change copy more than once a month. The investment is $300. Now, when we look into where our market is coming from, if we see a need that we wanted to include a market, I don't know if you guys know, but we own the Blackwell Journal Tribune as well. And because of that, you can actually purchase the Blackwell website for only half price of my website. You can get them both as a combo rate. The stats for Blackwell are very similar to mine. So, and our circulation and everything is too. They're weekly, we're a twice a week. Questions?
Tell me the difference in page views and visitors again.
Okay, so page views is just the total amount of people that somewhere hit our page. It could have been 9,362 times from the same computer. When you look at unique visitors, that is different URLs. So obviously,
So the visitors number are different URLs?
unique. Yeah, that means like if you were to log on and then in your office Linda were to log on, that would be two different.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, great.
Why so much difference to September?
Well, let me just tell you that
What'd the city do in September?
we had the city manager, his name was Leroy, just kidding. August, we did not kick off our new website until like the first part of August. So it is my belief that we just weren't really up and running that well. But I will tell you that we also had things playing into motion there. We had the first LaForce trial was actually, I believe, end of August, I can't remember the exact date, but we were still doing some residual on that. Plus, sports kicked in. So anytime you have football kicking in, people want to see what that is. But as far as, I can't think of any earth-shattering events that happened. That was the first full month that our website was tracked. The new website was tracked. So
what happened in October?
where it went down a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Football team was losing. No one wanted to know anymore.
Seriously, that is part of it. That is part of it. People will visit a website less when that tends to happen. I think the other thing in October is there was so much going on in the city in September. I mean, it was like every weekend we had huge events. That really started to decline in October. We still had quite a few in October, but it wasn't like every weekend like we had in September. Plus, I mean, September was kind of an anomaly. I mean, you know, I would love to see us have close to 20,000 page views a month, but I'm never going to promise you that. So
Is this the new site?
that's a new site, yes.
And these are tiles?
That's a tile.
Is this a banner?
It is.
So, okay, so you got two banners per page?
Yep. We do, and that top banner, is an exclusive sponsorship, so yours would be, yeah, HVAC.
Okay.
So yours would be the bottom.
Okay.
Or you can just pick another page. Everybody wants to be on the home page because that's the landing page, so, but you guys might just wanna be on, since we're talking about sports, or people, community would be a good one to be on as well.
Do visitors visit the community page?
Oh yeah, generally what you find with anybody that visits the website is obviously they're gonna come to the landing page because that's how they find us. But then, Dan, would you like to show that? Would you like to be my Vanna?
Yep.
My Vanna White,
Yep.
my Dan White?
I'm trying to get rid of this drop down. There we go.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
But you'll see where you have the tabs there, and one of the tabs is community, so they can go directly to that.
When I
Community-
tap on community, it gives me lifestyle, business, civic corner, and events.
Exactly.
And then I tap on lifestyle, and then it goes to faith or family.
Mm-hmm.
So if I tapped on community, I would guess I'm expecting to see a community page.
Sure.
And instead, I've got to go to a specific area.
Well,
How does that
community-
work?
Choose events.
You just get after it.
I wanna see what the events page looks like.
So she's pulled up events page,
Uh-huh.
and there she's got it by the date.
Right. So that's, that's basically what you're seeing in the newspaper on the left-hand rail there.
Okay.
That's like a whole month full of that.
Okay.
Yeah. My recommendation is always going to be that we try to do something on the homepage or that rotates throughout the site, that we don't just pick one of the inside pages unless it is sports or it makes sense to be anchored to a page like that. But for general purposes, I would suggest that we either rotate or we anchor to the homepage.
Out of these numbers, do you know how many are local versus out of Logan County?
I will have the availability to track that, but at the time of this report, I did not.
Could you also get numbers for just the events page, the page views of the events page?
I can check. But, I would be really careful about just being on one page. I would say let's rotate, and you would equally rotate on all those pages, but I can definitely do that.
Sure. Just
I
because-
understand, that makes sense, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Are you going to like the events page or go
Yeah,
to, I mean, it takes 2 or 3 taps to get to some of these pages. And to me, the home page makes more sense if you're doing it.
Or like I
Or the
said,
sports.
Well, but, yeah, that's true.
Sports, a lot of people come
That's
to
true.
town to visit
Mhm.
for their sports.
so generally,
information.
your number one pages are always gonna be homepage, obviously, and then sports and obits.
So if we're on sports page, would our position be top or bottom?
In that case, you can probably do either. I don't have anybody specifically anchored to sports. But again, I
So-
want to warn you that when we go into slow season, if we're just anchored to sports and, we don't have basketball, football, wrestling, softball, baseball, they may not
But
see
you
it.
indicate we change, so some of the months we could be on the bottom of the first page, some of the.
Yeah, that would be
we could be on
rotating.
the top of
Right,
the.
that would be rotating, and then it's just,
Okay.
yeah, it's just gonna be on every page. Good questions, any other things I can help you with?
And what kind of ad would it be? Would it just be our Guthrie, or our Guthrie?
That's
Historic.
open, we can
Yeah, we
do,
create content.
Yeah.
I kind of
Okay.
like the did you know idea. Did you know we have this many event centers? Did you know that we had this many V&Bs? Did you know?
Okay.
I've gone and spoke to groups, they don't know that we
Mm-mm.
have, people who live here really don't know that we have a lot to do or that we have a lot of
Okay.
things to offer. So that's probably the direction I'd recommend for creating a tile ad, and then of course linking back to our,
And who creates
triple W
the ad?
Guthrie okay.
we can. We do that at no charge, but
Okay.
if you, if somebody here wants to get involved in it too, I can certainly help them design them too.
Andrea, would this come out of the marketing
This would come out of the marketing.
Okay. Anybody else got other questions?
If we start this now and it starts in December,
Mm-hmm.
then you're in January, February. January, February, good months for us from a tourism standpoint.
My feeling is no. I mean, I think people get through the holidays. I don't know that the first thing they do in January is sit down and start planning their trips for the year. So I would be more likely to say delay to spring.
And we can do that. Your question is really good. The only thing that I think, and I know that we have talked about that before, is that, you know, we have one of the largest holiday events coming up with our Territorial Christmas. I think Territorial Christmas is something that is somewhat known in communities. I think it's something that would be easy to capitalize on for the mere fact that, oh yeah, I've kind of heard of that. I need to go down there and track it. Now, your events in the spring and even summer, because we have Red Brick Nights and some of those events, yes, those are going to be strong, but remember, when people read a newspaper, they don't just seasonally read it. It's not like watching your favorite television show. They're going to go to the website to read about whatever's happening every single month. So while they might not be going, oh yeah, there's the Guthrie ad and I'm going to plan my vacation now, they are going to see that, so that when it is time to do that, or let's say they have an organization that wants to be involved in 89ers, you've already started programming them to think along those lines. So that way when the events come up, Guthrie already has name awareness. And you have it here. This is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about here in Logan County. We're talking about Oklahoma County, Kay County, all in the surrounding areas. Cleveland County.
How do you draw interest to this?
To my website. So we do, there is local advertising in the newspaper. The other thing about, here's generally people know that if you are a newspaper or a news source, if you just Google my name, it's gonna, not my name, I'm sorry, Guthrie News Leader, it's gonna automatically come up as such. But I don't know very many newspapers or media outlets that do not have a website that complements whatever their outlet is. So I'd say if I was a business, yeah, that might be, and I am a business, but a business other than a media business, I'd say that'd be a pretty difficult question to answer.
Anybody else?
And the cost of this is what, $300 a month? Is that what it was?
For Guthrie News Leader, if you want to add the Blackwell Journal, it's $150 more a month. So totally up to you. And you can start with just the Guthrie News Leader, especially during the months where you know there's not as many events, and you can add them later. I know Leroy had asked the question, can we go 3 months at a time and evaluate? The answer to that is yes.
Is 3 months long enough to get a good feel?
Well, I like to see 6 months, a 6-month trial run. And especially since there's not a lot of events, we are going to have a lot of people that are reading and seeing that ad. But if we go 6 months, you're talking December, January, February, March, April, May. I mean, you're going to get through 89ers, you're going to get through the kickoff of Red Brick Nights, Jeep Fest, all of those events that happen.
If we did that, do you have access then to tell us local versus non-local and give us a little bit more as to where some of these hits are coming from?
I can definitely try, yeah. I mean, I can definitely go into there. The person that helps me with the statistics is with our corporate office, and I can ask them, how far can you drill down? I can get that. Or I can tell you I will get that. I think I can get that.
I think one of the things that, in addition to promoting tourism, you're supporting a local business that by their news stories promotes the community every day, that they publish and every day on their website. So, you know, to me, it's more than just tourism. You're partnering and supporting local business.
I agree.
And I know there's times that we do news releases on things that they run, that gives us exposure that that we don't even pay for that advertising.
Sandra, so if you put a timeline, how advanced do you think you would put in there on the banner? 3 months, 1 month? And I'm assuming you have to keep updating it.
Well, the tile ad or whatever
Yeah,
I'm creating.
whichever.
I would probably update it. Well, it depends what we did if I updated once a month or not. Are you asking me what time frame? I mean, I'm comfortable.
Would you do like
trying
3
to-
months in advance, or, well, what events are coming up?
Oh, how far in advance
Yeah,
would
yeah.
would I market events? A lot of that's depending on how soon I can get details from events.
Yeah.
Usually for me, it's about, I would guess about 2 months in advance, I wanna do.
Also depends on the number
Yeah.
of events you got going on
Yeah.
too.
Well, and also if something comes up last minute, then, I mean, we're able to just upload within 48 hours, so if that happens.
Would we be able to start something like this in February? I know that misses the
You can.
around Christmas.
Yeah.
But.
Or
I
could
just
we
didn't know
do
if we-
December and then pick up in February?
Now, I'm not gonna recommend that, but,
Too late.
I'm not gonna tell you no. I didn't tell you yes, but I didn't tell you no.
I kinda like the
You got me on
December-
TV saying this,
December through
Roy.
May. I think that takes in a lot of our events that we have, gives us a good feel for things.
I agree.
And then we can make a decision, hopefully with better statistics the next time around. And
My question would be, didn't we do a road show up at Conoco in Ponca City?
I think-
these two did,
Yeah.
we did.
Didn't that go over fairly well?
Yeah, there wasn't as many as the other two, but that's just because they're coming.
Well, that's just, my thought process was with Blackwell being up there too, that if on maybe certain key months, like December, we throw Blackwell in there and see if we could get some of those
Yeah.
visitors
Right.
out of Ponca City, Tonkawa, K County, to come down here and spend their money with us, those
So
three
We
weekends.
could add
Yeah.
Blackwell just in
Yeah.
intermittently?
Yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
always gonna be your discounted rate for it.
Okay,
I don't-
that's
I think
nice.
if we do it, we ought to do it 6 months so we have it long enough to
Yeah.
get a feel for it.
I agree.
Do I have any other discussion or a motion, please?
So would you want it, Andrew, would you want it to be like, so 6 months of the $300, $1,800 plus another like 300 or 450 to kind of throw things at Blackwell when you feel like it? Is that kind of what
I
you
think
Or
that's
special
nice.
events
I-
coming
Yeah,
up.
I think
that's
staff has authority to add something like that if we want to at any time. I think what we need now is just to get it started.
So I'd make that motion that we begin in December with a 6-month trial.
At what, for
At
just
300
Guthrie?
At 300, if we've got the ability to.
Then if staff sees that it's advantageous, we can do that at the staff
Sure.
level.
So we have a motion to do digital advertising with the Guthrie News Leader for 6 months at $300 a month. Do I have a second?
I'd second that.
Any
Are
more
you going-
discussion?
Point of order, are you going to abstain?
Pardon me?
Are you going to abstain?
I am abstaining.
Something about getting a paycheck from, I don't know what that has to do with it.
I will abstain, yes.
I just wanna say, I'm gonna go ahead, if you can get me the creative and start it before then, because we've got Territorial Christmas, kicking off this weekend, so
I don't
whatever.
have time to get it to you before.
No, but if
Right,
we could
you
just
can
do,
do something.
yeah, if
You
we
can
could
do
just,
something.
I can do something
Yeah.
for you.
Okay.
I have your logo and I also have the Territorial Christmas artwork as well.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I won't make it look different. No, but I'm just saying that, you know, that was my biggest rush, Andrea, when I kept rushing you.
I know.
I just don't wanna miss out on that because I know people are gonna be looking for things to do that weekend, especially if we have family in, because we love our family, but.
Shh, move on.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and I abstain for
which will actually go on the record as a no vote.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, abstentions are a no vote.
We put it out to the side, it was an
Yeah.
abstention,
Yeah.
so it's
Okay.
clear, but.
I'm good with that.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, thank you. I'm gonna leave these here. Sheldon?
Thank
Say I
you.
never gave you anything.
Grandma
Appreciate
will,
you. We do appreciate you.
Grandma will enjoy that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'll be in,
Karen?
yes?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'll be in touch tomorrow and get all of that stuff together for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Okay. Do we wanna do budgets or do we wanna do lazy E agreement?
I'd budget, I'd vote for budget.
If you do lazy E, that's the last item I'm gonna be here for, and then I'm going home,
Okay.
Okay,
if that's okay with
he
you.
is the city manager.
Well, you're the boss.
You can't say no to that.
Just go ahead.
You can.
What do we want to
It
do?
just won't matter.
Lazy.
Won't mean anything.
Do the lazy.
Mr. Leroy, you are up on lazy E, please.
Actually, I think
Or-
I'm not on.
Or you're up, okay.
Well, you and I.
Well, I will say, I don't know that the city has done the best job in prior years of working our partnership with Lazy E. And I think with the relationship that Andrew is building with the Lazy E, I would like to see us do it this additional 12 months, because I think we might be more impressed of what that brings to us and the relationship we can build with Andrew being the one involved in this. And no disrespect to others we've had working in the past, but I think Andrew has the ability to get more out of this contract than maybe we have in the past.
Andrew, what do you got to add?
Well, have you had, I know I just gave this to you tonight, so, do you need a minute to review it?
What sticks out?
Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, what,
Yeah, I can walk you
mean-
through it.
is it still $10,000 for the year?
It is still $10,000 for the year.
And is it a one-year agreement?
It's a one-year agreement.
Okay.
Full payments.
4 payments, split into 4 payments. The last one is subject to, it's just because of our budget cycle, if funds available, we'll approve it, you know, and it's,
Do we get like a table, or what do we get? A
Here's-
concession stand, or?
Exhibit A is page 8, and that's what we get for this. So, 8 and 9. So we get permanent signage in the arena for their events. We get a billboard inside the arena. We get our logo with link on lazyE.com, which we still have, recognition on lazyE.com, logo recognition when they do their advertising. We'll get a minimum of 2 fluoroplast banners or arena wrap in prominent locations. We will pay for that, but we do get it there. We get logo on their LED screen at each performance, a PA announcement, recognition on all their day sheets and draw sheets, print advertising, and value exposure at all future produced events. We will also receive booth space during Lazy E produced events during the term of the agreement. So, and during cinch timed event, we get some bonuses like we did in the past. We get, let's see here, what else? I was looking at things that are different than what there's before. 4 color full page ad in the program. A representative on the floor to participate in the awards presentation. 4 VIP club seat tickets and VIP parking pass, and booth space again.
So what do we get when it's not a Lazy E event and there's an event out there where they contract it out? Like, does this cover Little Britches?
I don't believe it does, because this is when they're, I know when I went to Little Britches last time, our banner was still up. So, but I think it's one of those things when they lease it out to an external group, they cannot guarantee that we're going to get all of our perks.
Other than your billboard.
Other than the
Yeah,
billboard and
right.
the, yeah, the.
I mean, all the signage that would be up
Mhm.
permanently
that's
it would still
permanently
be a-
anyway.
Yeah.
So we're allowed a booth at any of those contracted events, see, that's a key.
No, not in this contract.
We're not guaranteed
Because,
one, but I
yeah.
think working with them, there's a good possibility that we could get one.
I know Todd said that he saw this as more of a partnership thing and that he
Yeah.
was willing to put in, help negotiate for extras. But it wasn't going to be something they could promise us, so that
Yeah.
having that in writing was gonna be.
Because they're going
difficult.
more to that contracting concept anyway.
Yeah.
I know when we talk to potential retailers that want to come here, whether it's fast food or clothing store, when you tell them that our retail trade area is 90,000 within 15 miles. Well, when you add in Lazy E brings 400,000 people to town a year,
Wow.
that's a pretty big number to tell them. That's in addition to our trade area.
Yeah.
And Lazy E has volunteered to host some of these people out there so they can get the feel for it and see what it is. So I think there's a potential of enhancing that working partnership that maybe we haven't done in the past.
Yep, I've mentioned too, doing, we do social media giveaways, but we can really reach a lot more external people if we were to do social media giveaways on places like Lazy E that do have a large visitor base, and that was Todd seemed pretty open to that. I know that's not in the contract, but he said this is a basis for what we can work from.
Will he help us with tickets to social media giveaways? I know it's not in there, but will he?
Well, I know the cinch one is, he's been pretty decent about things too, I don't know for sure on that.
Okay,
I really don't. I don't wanna speak for him. I mean, he couldn't be here tonight, he's setting up for Chris Neal's Thanksgiving roping event, so, so I told him, he was really worried about it, but, yeah. I do know one of the things I talked with him about too, I'm trying to think, was about data. We tried that tourism study, they get information, they get data, he said they'd be willing to put, here's a survey link in all of the things they put out, or have something. I know when we had Guthrie Escape, I brought in information about it to Todd, and he said, well, their dressage show was that weekend, and he was like, oh, we'll just put it on the corner here in the gift shop right by the register. It was a very prominent location, and to have him mention it when they come in that this is going on this weekend if you want to go see it. So yeah, he's really been giving us more than
He's very
just lined
helpful.
out. Yeah, he's really helpful, and Jessica too. So but yeah, this is the basics. Now, if we want something like tickets to events, I'm happy to approach him for that.
Well, no, I was just thinking like when the timed event comes in, if we wanna continue to grow that, have any of you guys been to time event? It is really a cool thing. It is really cool.
We are getting 4 VIP club seat
Maybe
tickets,
we can give
so.
tickets and tie that into a giveaway for one of those shows over that weekend.
I think anything you approach them with that they see as a win-win, helps the
Mhm.
community, helps them, I think they would be
They'll
receptive.
do it, okay.
So can I ask a slightly budget question before we can continue this? And that is, as far as in the past, like the past year or two, we've had 115,000 roughly to use for marketing and events and that sort of thing. But as we've added a new director, did that directly reduce the amount of money that we're gonna have?
Correct.
Okay.
It did.
So now we're looking at maybe 55,000 for events.
I think it's 40 something, then, yeah.
I was looking at 36,962 for marketing proposed, and then 18,000 for special events proposed. Are those right?
This is, let me go ahead. Yeah.
I'm looking at this number and this number.
That is-
Those two
that is
numbers are
correct.
what we're gonna have.
Mhm.
And in the past, we've been doing 10,000 with Lazy E, and I know we've just given kind of the same amount that we gave last year to, someone just spent some other money, but I mean, somewhere, we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing, and we've talked about putting more money into Lazy E and less money on some of the other, and I'll use Little Britches for an example, or Chris Neal for an example, or whatever. Something's gonna have to give somewhere.
Well, Little Britches, we didn't give him anything. Yeah.
That's true. That's
And
true.
Lazy E is a local business
Yeah.
as opposed to outside
Yeah.
organizations.
My thought is, it's on the agenda tomorrow night for city council, is the new event application. I think that'll weed some stuff out for us in 2018, because we're only gonna consider applications 4 times a year. And some of those questions I was trying to ask Jerry is on that application for 2018.
One more question, and then I'm gonna leave him alone here or whatever, but we've added a hotel since 16, and it doesn't seem like we're increasing the amount of income off that hotel motel tax. I mean, 6-8% type, I mean, are we expecting more of that type of growth, you
I
think?
haven't looked at any projections. I'm not sure that we just didn't divide the pie rather than make the pie
Mhm.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
But I mean, the expectation is to make that pie bigger to pull
Correct.
from.
Yes.
Correct. I mean, you won't have the motels that we have if you don't grow
That's right.
the activity. Someday, somebody's gonna say, wait a minute,
Yeah,
our revenue's not where it needs to be.
okay, but you've answered my questions, I appreciate that, that helps me.
Now, Adele will
Big pie
say-
cut out of my pie.
What's that?
There's a big cut out of my pie.
I'm sure, I am sure.
But I will tell you that there are indicators, our sales tax this last month was up 14.9%. So, and it was up
Now, was
about 9% the month before.
And that was for
So
October?
average, the first 2 months is about 12%.
And this is annualized now, so it gives you a true indicator.
Was that October or September?
October, November.
Oh, it was.
And that doesn't even include our new Taco Bueno,
Yeah.
because that'll come in next month.
That's going flat now,
Wait,
you can
no.
tell, restaurants do good, a month or so, and then.
Yeah, but we haven't gotten anything from that.
Yeah.
Sales
They didn't
tax
do
wise.
anything.
And plus, it's gonna draw a lot of.
When does,
from the-
and I know this, we're getting off base and I wanna get back, when does the sales tax incentive for like Loves and those guys go away? Do you know?
It's been a while since I looked at that, so I'd be speaking out of turn if I
Okay.
give you a date on that.
One other question, Leroy, before we let you go, does this now have to go to city council for approval since it's 10 grand?
No, I've got authority up to 25.
Okay.
Andrew, I just have a question on the banners
Mhm.
that are going up.
Yes.
It's gonna be a small bill, but if we're getting them 10,000, why are we paying for the 2 banners that are being made?
I did not ask him that. I
Okay,
don't know
I'm
if
just-
that was different from last year's or not. I mean,
I was just
I'm
wondering.
assuming it's something about, I don't know if it's our design control or if they're, yeah, I don't know.
Cause it says we'll be invoiced, so they're making them.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
they're having them made. So I was just wondering, I mean, if we're giving them $10,000,
Mhm.
why we're having to pay? I mean, like I said, it's gonna be a small invoice,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
I know it is our new logo and that's why they're having to create them now
Remake 'em.
versus, yeah. So, and I don't
Okay.
know,
So they'll do the billboard as well in a new logo.
yes, so.
Yeah, should.
Mhm,
Because right now it's the old one.
mhm.
See, and that'll be invoiced to us too.
If
Number
revisions
2.
are necessary.
There is, yeah, because it's the
So-
old billboard.
Yeah,
right
cause
now.
it will be revised, cause it'll be the new logo.
I guess.
So I don't know, that'd be a question I would ask.
Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
I guess, well, I think it should be part of, renew the contract, that the billboards will be updated with no
That
additional
would make
charge.
sense to me.
We can put that in the motion, if that's what you want.
Yes.
You know, if I was lazy, I'd be saying, how often are you guys gonna update this?
Not that not that
But I
much.
mean, that's an unknown for them, just looking at it.
Could you
Right.
say once, you know, for the new?
Yeah.
We don't want Andrew to have to come back to us if they say no. I want the motion probably needs to be something other than like, you know, if they say no, she has to come back and get us to approve some.
Do we wanna say up to $500? Do we, you know, what do we think this is gonna cost us, guys?
What if we approved a contract and asked Andrea to negotiate with them and see if we can get it included?
Sounds good.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
HC?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So the motion is that we approve the $10,000 to Lazy E and empower Andrea to negotiate with them the cost of redoing the banners
And the billboard.
and the billboard. And I have a second from Justin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any vote opposed?
I'm out of your way.
Mr. Wheeler, thank you for waiting around.
Yeah, appreciate your input.
Well, we appreciate your awesome involvement.
Congratulations on 2 months of sales tax.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that's really,
you know, it's everybody working together.
That's right.
okay. Budget status, let's get that out of the way, Miss Andrea.
Yes, let's.
Leroy, see you tomorrow night.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the pages from the budget that was approved through city council for fiscal year 18, which started October 1st, 2017. I don't have our budgeted, I don't have our fund balance yet. And I learned something today. I thought I could amend it to go into, you know, the current budget numbers, and it doesn't. It's just if we happen to go over in one of our areas of what's budgeted, it would come out of the general fund balance. So this last page that I gave you is
How do
kind
you
of,
figure that?
well, that's what I was told today in the treasurer's office, so.
Hotel motel tax has its own fund. It cannot go back in the general
Well,
fund.
it's not going to general fund.
Okay.
It creates a fund balance within the hotel motel tax
Well, yeah,
fund.
but it should roll over to our
That is
hotel
not.
motel tax budget.
Well, it does as fund balance. What I don't have is the final number
Oh, what the
for
number
the
is.
fund balance, yes.
So what do we
Yeah.
think it is? We don't know.
I tried to give an estimate. I'm still waiting on some reports. I'm still crunching some numbers on that. Kim is out this week for the holiday.
Oh, okay.
So I called her today for that, and she said she was getting some reports and stuff last week. I haven't had a chance to look
Okay.
at them, so. But,
So maybe by December we'll have.
But estimated fund balance, I think we've got a total, if you look on that last page of your handout, I think we should have over, it's gonna be
It was like 39,000 or
Yeah.
32,000
Yeah,
or something.
38,000 or so
Yeah.
left over,
Okay,
so.
okay.
So it'd be around 38,000 left over in our fund balance that, and then,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So-
Where are you saying that is on this page? the
This is
38?
this first column, I was just roughly adding it up.
That's gonna be about 38,000.
I tried to take my last spreadsheet, delete out everything that was done by, September 30th, and those were the numbers that were left over, so,
Yeah, I think we had that figured in October, that's about what it was.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, from there, so this is our.
So we do not know, okay, I'll just look it up and ask, so we don't know what we received in hotel motel tax income on this last go-round yet, do we?
I don't have that.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Kim may have dropped it in the folder, and I may have just not looked at
Okay.
it.
You mean the last quarter?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. Any questions? On the city council agenda for tomorrow night, I saw like $1,400 in marketing. Do we know what that was for? Is that on their agenda tomorrow night for hotel motel tax, where they list all the expenses? They had like $1,400 out of our marketing account. Do you know what that was for at all?
I don't, I'd have to get with Kim and get the details on that.
Okay. Cause she prints it out for the council.
Mhm.
It said marketing 1,400, I'm going. I didn't know.
Oh, was that for income or was it expenditure?
I thought it was expenses.
Okay.
Is it like for this stuff?
And it could be, by the way, that looks gorgeous.
This looks fantastic.
Okay, you guys like it?
I
This is
think
what we-
that's awesome.
This is what we did, so.
It is great.
I have the second, I think the
It's
brochure,
big, it's
the
big, it's
brochure
bigger than
holders
what I
are a
thought.
little bit.
I'm telling you,
more
you take
artistic
that
than
to
I
a
think,
road
but-
show,
You're gonna get some attention.
yes.
And
Are they gonna give you that much space?
Well, even if they don't, I can
That's a
collapse
squeeze
one
it
of the
out.
banners, I can only take, I
Well, even-
don't have to take all three.
Even if they, I mean, even if they, I mean, we're not on this, but even if they don't, you can scoot that one in behind
So I'm not gonna
and make it
fill
more
all this.
3D.
It's just going to have
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
that,
Okay.
yeah, thank you though, I appreciate it, no, I saw it, but, yeah.
that's just.
That's
You
just
just use
one
two,
aspect.
those two, or those two.
Best money
I think
we
so,
spent.
too. I think so too.
And we're still even under budget on that, so,
Cool.
Good job.
yeah.
Okay.
Keep that to yourself.
Any more
Keep that in
questions
mind.
on the budget until we get our fund balance? We're pretty well. And again, city council is taking up the new app tomorrow night that we've worked hard on through the many revisions for the
Within
event.
support. And I'll
So-
look into that marketing thing.
Okay.
to see.
Just, I guess the only other, just a statement or a comment is, in 2016, that tourism and parks portions were just under 175,000.
Correct.
Proposed for 18 is 180,000. Well, and I hadn't put the numbers to that, but that's, what is that, 2% growth? And we've added a hotel? I'm
We've added 150 rooms.
I'm just surprised that that growth's not greater than that.
I could
Just
speak for
comment.
myself, I could see that,
Okay,
and now you have to understand what
it's
my,
just
where my
coming out of your
business
pocket.
is. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I will say that Hoyle opened it, well, this is
New
later.
casino.
Yeah,
Yeah,
new
new
casino, and
casino.
so hopefully we can
Get
start
more
doing
people.
some regional marketing.
Okay. Okay.
But,
Thank you.
yeah, no, it's a little bit disappointing.
Well, I'd like to, from something I learned I'd like to call like Langston. I wanna find out where they're putting these teams up when they come in for events. And if they're putting them up here, or putting them up in Stillwater, or putting them up in Edmond. Because that would be ultimate dollars that come to us for all these teams that come to town.
It has to be a good sized hotels, and we don't have that. You figure one football team, there's no hotel that
I
you
know,
can handle a
but
football
when
team
some of these
here.
basketball teams start coming like from Louisiana,
No, we got those, we got
Oh,
those.
okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. In the same conference, they play each other every other year
Yeah.
at home. So like volleyball or basketball, men's, baseball, we got them.
okay. All right. We might be, well, no, I better not jinx us. Mobile app. Who's gonna talk about the mobile app?
Would you like me to talk about the mobile app?
I don't
A
understand.
mobile app?
I don't understand it, so yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I know this is something that many board members have expressed and other people have talked about for some time. And even Cody Mosley, he even had a grant for a augmented reality tour downtown. When people come to my office and when they call and when they put in requests on GuthrieOK.com, which I'm getting more and more of, which is great, and through Frontier Country, a lot of them express interest in historic tours or architectural tours. And I researched some companies. These are not augmented reality, but there's I was talking with members of the Oklahoma Tutorial Museum who went to the Museum Plains conference, or excuse me, Mountain Plains Museum Association conference, and they had talked with Onsell, which is a app building company that specifically focuses on historic tours or tours in town. So I went through a presentation with them. I got their quote here in your packet, which I don't know if we can go through their contract because they say it's confidential. We have to release that through open records if we go with them, but information is there. And then I researched some other companies, one called Pocket Sites and another one called Tour Buddy. Just for different quotes. A lot of these have either an annual fee or a monthly fee or a combination thereof. What these allow us to do would be to build tours on this app that are geolocated. So if people download the app through, iTunes or Google Play, they can go on and pick a tour. So they could do the antiques of Guthrie. They could do the historic tour of Guthrie. They could do architectural, and we could build these. We would provide and upload photos and information and GPS coordinates for the spaces. And if people have, notifications turned on, push notifications, they would get notified when they're close to one of these places, and they can pick up the tour and go from there. It's just a visitor information type of thing. I don't know, having something like that, I don't know how much of a draw it is, but it is definitely visitor information when people are here. Because I cannot be in the gazebo or in my office 24/7, weekends and evenings, but an app can be on. So, and this would allow us to build some of these things. And some of them allow video, and there's a sample of one of them.
When I was last time I was in Washington D.C., I used an app that the Park Service had built for a national mall. And it was my Bible the entire time. You held up the map function with your camera. You have your camera function,
Right.
just pointed it at different things, and if I pointed at the Smithsonian, it told me all about the Smithsonian, and I could hit the link and it took me to the Smithsonian's website. I did that with everything, whether it was the Washington Monument or whatever. You set up your camera and it told you stuff about it, and that was just the coolest thing ever.
That's the kind of app I'd like to see.
Yeah, I use that.
And I think it would save us from producing a lot of paper, printed stuff, especially things that might change. If an antique store changes location or heaven forbid goes out of business, but it happens, I think some of these would allow us to flexibility.
Have you compared the paper cost versus the app cost at all?
I have not, but I know, for example, I know I've got some quotes for map production, and if you're wanting to do a big map that folds out, it seems the average is around $3,000 to $4,000 for just the design services, and then there's going to be an additional $2,000 for every 5,000 you print.
I know Tulsa has the type of app Justin's talking about, and I've talked to the Tulsa CDB guy at the two different road shows that I've been at, and he says it's downloaded and used all the time, and it's that type of, you can walk up to a museum and point it, and it'll show you, or to tell you all the exhibits that are going on at that museum, or so.
So it'd be $5,700 for the first year.
If with on-sale, pocket sites would be a little different. I know on-sale, one of the things they offer it on the website as well, and they have QR codes and all sorts of things on theirs. Conference production. They have a lot more support than some of the others. Some of the others are a little cheaper though. So to me, I know we could try something and then we could try upgrading later, or we could start big. I know with our budget not being huge, it's going to limit what we can do. But there's another.
I'm not against it, but I also would like to see what the paper cost versus this cost would be.
Okay.
I mean, just if it's gonna cost us $8,000 a year to print paper and maps, and every time we print a map, and it's only gonna cost us
Well, we're gonna completely go away with that.
I know, but it's still what the cost is, would be an interesting comparison.
We'd still have to print something because not everybody's gonna have.
Well, correct.
Yeah, well,
We
budgets are
just
always
wouldn't have to
maps.
print as much.
Yeah, we hope.
So.
Well, right now what I'm doing honestly is I'm printing off Word document with just a list. It's not attractive. I don't have, we can keep it simple like that. I think, it's how complicated we wanna get with these.
So do we have anything we wanna do for now? Do we wanna take no action and continue looking at alternatives? What's the board's feeling?
we really need to go to something like this, bottom line, yes, we do.
I mean, I can do a cost analysis. Do you want me to include all three of these companies?
I would, if you could just give us sort of a spreadsheet maybe and give it for December,
Okay.
and we can.
I
look
am
at it.
putting the brochure redesign and all that on hold to research this
Okay.
to manage
Cool.
my
Okay.
time. So I'm just letting you know that. And I will probably have to reorder brochures again within the month. So,
Okay.
I'll have that on December with the quote, the existing, just because we go through them very fast. Because
guess-
people use them to find the antique stores, they use them to find
That's
the
not
museums and the historic sites. I think this would allow us, if we went to a marketing piece, like we've talked about, for our branding, to keep the page numbers down and reduce that cost.
Right. Okay. So no action, December report. Discussion, possible action on territorial Christmas giveaway package.
And you said you wanted what kind of cost before we do that?
Well, I was just-
What, like, are you talking annual? Because a lot of these are a setup fee and then monthly. Are you
Well, the
thinking about
setup
6
fee-
months? Or are you talking about a year?
You can put the setup fee, I guess, off to the left or the right or whatever.
Okay.
But more the annual fee versus what our annual fee for the printing costs are.
Okay.
I think would be, anyone got any other ideas as to what, I mean,
that'd give you a good number. To know
I
what
think
you're
that would show us what we're,
spending yearly.
Okay, and are you wanting to include the same things on a print style program that you are on a mobile app, such as a map with all of the locations marked and a listing of the different places? This is the thing, this is all factored into pricing, so if we're getting quotes, I need to know this.
More detail, the more cost.
Mhm.
I guess I'll defer that back to you to see what, how many items we could get on there. Anyone else? I love the apps, but I couldn't tell you how to design one.
I think part of it's gonna be like how much you're gonna be involved in like content creation and in updating content for the app, because like you don't want it to be your full-time job.
Right, no.
So-
Well, and I'm
See,
not
and
going to
that's-
put in the exhibits that are showing today, but I will probably put
Right.
in a link to the, if it allows me
Right,
to
to
do
the
links, I will do a
place.
link to the
Yeah.
place so they can.
Well, that's
they can
because
do
like
that,
the
because
Tulsa
I'm
one,
not
I
gonna
think after the
externally
first
maintain.
year, they hired a whole content team.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how much time it took to keep it up and keep it good. And that's the thing is, we also have to realize that if we do an app, it's gotta stay good.
Yeah,
I mean, it can't be
It's gotta
good
be
for the
up.
first month that we do it,
Then drop.
and then me and Andrea get tired in no time, and then
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
not
I want something,
updated.
well, I'm wanting something like a
So-
historic tour where the historic sites are probably not gonna change all that
Right.
much. The architecture is probably not
updating.
gonna change that much. Antiques may,
May.
but I don't,
So, but if we do an app, it's gotta be able to stay super the whole life of the
Yeah.
app.
I don't know if there's any way at all to estimate this, but like, it'd be nice if you could say, okay, you guys have a certain number of hours you could devote to it each month, and then just make it as complicated as, until you hit that amount of time that you have available. I don't know if that's possible to estimate that.
Well, let's start with a price comparison, and then we can,
okay.
as a board, we can take it from there and see what we really need to do, because that's what I think.
We'll
And you
try
might
not
wanna
to-
put X amount of hours you might think you might spend on
Yeah.
keeping this up.
What's the time
Because it's no good
commitment?
spending money if we can't keep it up.
Yeah.
And that's
Good
just going
point,
back
good
to
point, good point.
the Guthrie news page, we have to, you got, it's your time you gotta put up to do the banner,
Mhm.
to keep changing it.
Yeah, well, actually, it's theirs, it sounds like.
Well,
theirs,
you-
but I
you
do-
gotta-
I gotta do feedback and follow up
Yeah,
and.
you gotta follow up and
it's
keep it
still-
up.
There's still some administration
Yeah.
involved, yes. Thanks for recognizing that.
Okay. Territorial Christmas giveaway package.
We have, Homes tour tickets. We have two Homes tour tickets.
I think we are gonna pay them $30 for that, they were, well, we can probably donate, well, I don't know, and I kinda wanna, yeah, we'll just.
And we got two,
Pay 'em 30.
two Pollard tickets. And then, a room was donated from the La Quinta.
He
So.
donated a room night, one night stay, so.
And we're gonna try and get that out there this week
Okay.
and next week, and it'll be given, like, the person will be picked December 1st.
So in time for the first. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because the home tours are on
For
the first
home tour
weekend.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Yeah. And on the, I didn't print this out, I meant to, but on the, our last giveaway, because the other two we talked about at the last meeting, but our Scaregrounds giveaway, we had 250 comments. I think there was right at 300 shares, so it got a lot of.
So what's our total cost on the giveaways? 30?
Well, this one would be $30 bucks
$30.
That's it?
Mhm.
on
Okay.
this one,
Yep.
because the room and the Pollard was
Yeah,
donated.
I don't really know that we need to go through the board for that amount.
Nope, I think we're good. Okay. Staff comments?
I'll just remind you guys, I bring the Facebook analytics, are there in front of you. This one, it shows you how many solar posts, like those reds are on the first page, this page. Those 3 circles are our main posts that did the best. So on the 7th and the 16th, had the most engagement. So, if you have questions, you can ask. Like on this page, these bars, at the top, those are the hashtags. Those are the keywords that are searched most. So Guthrie, home, proud, Carla Maker, and rich. So I don't know why those are being searched, but they are. So. And then down at the bottom, it shows you the top posts with the most engagement. So November 7th, that's the video, had 217. Then your next one had 90. So. And I think those are the only comments I have.
Well, I know that Keith has an upcoming, we've got an upcoming media blitz on the 28th.
Yeah, it was gonna be tomorrow, but.
Well, it was gonna be
because
the 16th.
Yeah, it was gonna be the
originally.
16th, then the lady that does them, her husband had a hospital, and so they moved it to tomorrow, and because of the holidays, none of the media people are wanting to deal with us, so they put it off till the 28th. So we'll be going on, one of us will be going on a media blitz on the 28th, leaving at 5:30 in the morning if anybody wants to join us. So
Where's it at?
the first stop, we're going west. Our first stop is in El Reno at KO, at the radio station in El Reno. He's going to interview us, and the good thing that I think is pretty amazing, and there's only 2 of us going. It'll be us and Norman. So the interview will be the 2 of us. So we're not sharing airtime with a lot of people. Like the first one I went on, there was 5 of us. So every time we interviewed, or your time on the radio is shorter because there's more people being interviewed. So, and then the last one we went on, when we went up towards Bartersville, it was just me and Norman. So I think that's when we do the radio, I'm excited when there's only a few of us, because the radio time's a lot more, so.
Yeah. What else? Halloween happened. The
Halloween.
Scareground said they did amazing this year.
Yeah.
They said they were parking people past their parking out. They said they were more full than they had. They said Groupon worked really well for them. They said it takes a huge cut when you do a Groupon. for a fee, and I think you have to give, I don't know how that works exactly,
I don't
but
know how much.
they said because they had the extra insomnia attraction, that really boosted that. So I may look into Groupon to see if there's any package or something we can do.
I'd forgotten that it
for
still
kind of
exists.
thing. Yeah, still pretty popular. I know that the Murder Mystery Nights do quite a bit of their marketing there, and I
Yeah.
don't find much of anything else about them.
No.
So, event sports status, as you mentioned, tomorrow, that's going before city council. I wasn't sure when that was going to be ready through Leroy's office, and so I haven't talked to a lot of our events about the change happening. I really want to, so, I'm gonna try to send out probably an email tomorrow, and we may get a lot of people showing up tomorrow night, but we will see. I'm gonna try to at least make calls and say, hey, there's changes happening, and, you know, here's what's being proposed, just so people who have applied in the past know. So it's, you know,
Good.
yeah, so they can chew on me if they need to.
And like you said, I know Halloween,
Mhm.
During the merchant meeting, was shared that they felt like it was one of the bigger, more successful, just because the streets were blocked off, and that the traffic flowed a lot better. So I know a lot of people were happy with that, so.
And I got a lot of positive feedback about the downtown trick-or-treating
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, when they close the streets off, I know it really does help.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're about to need more brochures. I just opened my last box, and Travel OK just contacted me right after doing that, saying they need another box or two. So, I didn't have time to put it on this agenda, but I may see if I can go through Leroy and see if he's okay with that, so we don't have a lapse there. I've also made the little two-sided business card saying, you saw me at, and then has a line for whatever Hilti, Ponca City, you know, wherever, and to turn in for goodie bags. A lot of the hotels have said they'd support that, but I have had some feedback of how much are we spending on that and how much data do you think we'll actually get. I'm willing to try it for one round and see. But I may wait to launch that until, I don't know, I may check with the hotels and see when when we've got an event coming up, so that we are measuring that time. You know, I don't wanna necessarily measure it in
Well,
January when I have
I'd
a
also wait
visibility.
maybe till we do another road show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking when I start kicking off in January with some of these
Mhm.
expos and conferences,
Yeah.
it might be a good time to make the business cards and have the hotel bags available then. So, anyway, I have that ready, but I'm not launching it yet. Also need some volunteers if you're free December 9th for the Territorial Christmas Walk. I'm going to be in the gazebo, I think on the 16th. The 9th I'm gonna be in the Carnegie Library. And I think Tracy had some other commitment between the chamber and myself. We're trying to get that constantly staffed during Territorial Christmas. There will be a space heater in there. Just have, answer questions, have information available. It may be cold, but it's fun. And if
Good
you
dress
need a
up?
Victorian costume, let me know, and Tracy and I will try to find you one. I do have our t-shirts that say Visit Guthrie. You can always put a long sleeve
Victorian
something
t-shirts?
underneath that that has our website, so
Cool.
at least marks you as a volunteer if you don't have a thing. But if
So you
if
guys
can
gonna be in
volunteer,
there on Saturday?
I'm gonna be there the 16th. I don't know if I can be in there on the 9th too. I'm hoping, but thing is I've committed to 2 other
Yeah.
things that day that are work related, and I'm figuring by the time I've been out of my house from 8 until I won't wanna be out in the cold by 9 p.m., 10 p.m. So, not that I don't wanna help, I just can't.
Yeah, I
do it
think
all.
Tracy was telling me that she was gonna be in there for some period.
Yeah. But on the December 9th, we're definitely needing help. It's Kiwanis auction that day too, so we're having more problems finding volunteers.
And that's
because there's a lot
also-
of need on both.
Or no, sorry, that's not also, but, I don't know why I thought of this when you said the Kiwanis
Mhm.
auction, but Small Business Saturday is the 25th,
Mhm.
so, hopefully there'll be a lot of people out in downtown,
Mhm.
so.
Okay.
All right, that's.
Comments from board or things we need on the December agenda? Other than, The only thing I would ask, and this is more probably a Leroy question, is I would like to see any requests for funding support put off until January when the new form becomes available. Because otherwise we could get ambushed in December with stuff that we may really wanna take a closer look at.
I think it may not be something, I mean, we didn't do an emergency clause for, but I don't know how policies work, so you're right, it's a policy, it's not an ordinance.
Right.
So,
Anything else for December,
that
other than the?
big price report, I also wanna do probably potential reach on that, because our app, you know, what it may cost to print something for the same
Right.
kind of reach,
Right.
yeah.
Anybody else? Anything else going on that we need to?
Lighted Christmas parade, be there or be cold.
We're gonna be cold anyway.
And they're doing a movie after, I don't know what.
I don't know, it may not be cold, I mean, it's,
I am open for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
no, he said a motion. No,
All
second.
of,
I thought you voted.